Hey guys, in this video we're going to start a new series of Autodesk Fusion 360 tutorial videos. I've considered doing Fusion 360 videos in the past. I've been using it for a couple of years, actually since before the official launch, but I wasn't really sure where I wanted to start. And I've had a few people on my channel ask me to start making videos, but I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go. And then a few days ago, one of my Instagram followers, Skeeterman69, hit me up asking for help with a problem that he's having with a part that he's trying to make on his CNC milling machine. And it's something that I've dealt with in the past on my CNC G0704. So I thought the easiest thing to do was to make him a short video, which I did. And he's already made the part and it turned out great. So I thought this might be a good space for me where I can make videos specifically for people who have a problem and need help. So if you're working in either the model or CAM environments and there's something I can help you with, hit me up on YouTube or on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, but I tend to forget to check that one. So YouTube and Instagram are best. And if I can help, I'll make you a video and we'll add it to the channel. There's going to be a card in the top right corner of your screen you can click on to find the playlist for this series of videos. And if this is the only video in the playlist, it's because nobody else ever bothered to ask a question. I don't want to do like a weekly tutorial series because, like I said, I don't really know where I want to go with it. So if you have questions, feel free to hit me up. And if I can help, we'll turn it into a video and we'll add it to the playlist. So in Skeeterman's case, what he's doing is machining a gear that is a larger diameter than the Y travel of his CNC mill. And this happens to me all the time on the G0704 because I have a little less than 6 inches of Y-axis travel. So what I've done and what I did for him is I made this simple model of with a sketch and a body. And let me go ahead and turn on the component so you can see it. The sketch is really only 3 things. There's a 7-inch diameter circle, which is larger than our Y-axis travel on the mill. Then there are 2 rectangles. One rectangle at the top extends down below the center line, and one rectangle at the bottom extends up above the center line. You can see here both of the rectangles are 4.5 inches. Now, originally I had some other geometry in here that was just kind of helping me get everything symmetric and squared and placed around the origin just the way I wanted, but I've deleted all that to make it as basic as possible. And you can see here that I also extruded the circle to a 1/4 inch to allow for a 1/4 inch thick material. That was just a guess. I actually don't know the size of the part that Skeeterman69 was making. So with these 2 overlapping rectangles and the circle, we have everything we need to create a couple of setups that will allow us to machine this in 2 configurations. One where we'll machine half of the part, then we'll rotate it and we'll machine the other half. Now, the first thing I would do is try and get my stock as square as possible. And you could do this by clamping it down to your table, maybe with a strap clamp here and another strap clamp here. And if you do it over a slot, you could drop your end mill down the slot and clean up this edge of your stock. Then you could rotate the part. And let's say we rotated counterclockwise. This edge would now be over here. We could tram this edge and then we could machine this, and we could do that a couple of more times, and that should get it pretty square. Now, if you have error in your setup, you may end up multiplying the error each time you rotate it. You may not be able to achieve super high accuracy doing it this way, but for parts that don't require total crazy accuracy, this works just fine. I've done it many times. So let me go ahead and turn this back off, and we're going to jump over to the CAM environment. I already had some setups created here, but we're going to create new ones just so I can kind of walk you through it. What we'll do is come up here to the very top of the screen and click New Setup. And then I always jump over to the Stock tab first. I kind of wish the Stock tab was the first tab. And we're going to change the stock offset to 0.5 because the stock is being automatically calculated off of the geometry of the body, which is a 7-inch diameter circle. So this will give us our 8-inch square. Then for stock offset, we're going to change that to 0 because we're only dealing with a 1/4 inch thick piece of material. Then we'll come over here to Setup. So we're going to choose we're going to choose a box point for our origin. And the way that I showed Skeeterman how to do it was to choose the origin in the center of the part. And that's because I didn't know the diameter of his work. If you have a small enough piece that you can pick up this corner, this would probably be the better corner because then you can tram along this surface. You can tram all the way across the X. Whereas when you're tramming down the Y, you're only going to be able to tram, however far you can travel. In this case, on my mill, I could tram all 8 inches of the X, and that would help us get it as accurately as possible. But if you can't reach this corner of your travel, then go ahead and choose the center of your part for the origin. The other nice thing about choosing the center is, although it's going to be more difficult to locate when you flip the part, for the setup, it's even easier because when we do the next setup, we're only going to have to click one thing, and that will change our the direction of our axes, and we'd be done. So for now, we're just going to leave it up here on this upper corner like this, and we'll click OK. And then what we're going to do is come up and get a 2D contour. And for the tool stuff, you can put in whatever you want. I'm just going to quickly select a tool. It doesn't matter which one. And then we'll jump over here to the geometry tab. This is where the magic happens. So for the contour selection, you could choose the upper circle of the disc or the lower circle of the disc. And then you'll set all of your heights over here in the heights tab. For me, it seems to make more sense to choose the lower circle of the disc, but if we wanted to come over here and actually turn off the disc, we could just use the sketch circle as the geometry, and that would be totally fine. And then we just make sure we get all of our heights set correctly over here in the next tab. So what we're really interested in now is the stock contours. When we turn this on, you'll see we get a yellow square that is the entire area of our stock. But what we want to do is choose just the upper rectangle. And this is going to limit our machining to everything that falls inside of this rectangle. So when we click OK, you can see that we now get a cutting contour that goes along the top half of the part. Now, if we come over here, you'll notice it does overlap the center line by probably, 3/4 of an inch. This may have to do with the tool you choose. You've also got your lead-ins. You could change those. So you could really, probably get this closer to the center line if you needed it. But in my example, this is going to be just fine. So that's good enough. We're going to stop here, and we're going to come over and we're going to right click our setup and choose copy. Then we're going to come to setups, right click and choose paste. And you'll see that not only do we get our new setup, but we also get a copy of the contour. So let's jump in here to the setup. And all we need to do is choose a new stock point. We're going to choose this corner and flip the direction. So you'll notice up here, it says we're looking at the front of the work. Now, if we rotate to the back of the work, it looks exactly like it did before, and we can choose OK. Then we're going to come in here to our contour. We'll come over here to our stock contour. And now you'll see we've selected the bottom, which is not what we want. We want to choose the top again because we're looking at the back. So we'll click OK. And now you can see we're going to machine the second half of our circle. So it makes more sense if I come back to the home view. You'll see that we're first going to machine the top half of the part. Then after we rotate it and indicate it into location and pick up our edges, we're going to machine the bottom half. And of course, our coordinate system is rotated as well. So there's a lot of other things that are kind of going on here, but I don't really want to get into it. I don't want to take you from start to finish on this. I just want to show you how you can set up Fusion to allow for multiple setups. And you're probably going to run into this at some point in the future where you need to make a part using multiple setups. And this is one way to do it, stock contours. So that's it for this video, guys. If you have questions or ideas on how to improve this method, go ahead and post below. If you would like to see another video, or if you run into something in Fusion you need help with, feel free to send me a comment and I will try and do my best. We'll make a video and add it to the series, and I will see you in the next one.